Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have with me a very special guest, and in fact I'm sitting at his house and we are recording this. He is Ritesh Tandon, and Ritesh is going to be representing the Republicans in District 17 of California, and guess what? His opponent is going to be Ro Khanna. Ritesh, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you so much, Shriji, and thank you so much for coming to my place.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And Ritesh ji, I have been watching you over the few interactions that we have had in the past. I know you've been a very active community person. You've done a lot of work in the community. And perhaps for our viewers, and our viewers are going to be all over the world.
Wow.
And,
Nice.
and Ro Khanna got on PGurus channel for the wrong reasons, and we're going to go over a little bit about what he has made statements and what your views are on those statements. But I think let's start with knowing who Ritesh the person is.
Thank you so much. And hello, audience. First of all, my name is Ritesh Tandon. I'm running for congressional seat from District 17, which include Fremont, Newark, San Jose, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and Milpitas. I'm in the Bay Area since last 21 years. I came to the Bay Area for my education. After completing my master's in computers, I worked for Cisco for almost 12 years, and then I worked for Jabra. Last 1.5 years, I'm trying to build something for myself. It's a company on the technology field. But while working on the same site, I'm working for Shankara since last 20 years, where we have built 9 hospitals for the poor people and those who are performing 150,000 free surgeries every year. And also, I'm president of Uttar Pradesh Mandal of America, where we are running 10 daycare centers back in India, focusing towards the underprivileged students and their education. At the same time, here I fight for Spanish communities, those who are very poor, those who don't know about their rights, and working for them for last 5-6 years. And now looking into what is happening and what is happening around us, that has motivated me to come in this race.
That's wonderful to know. Viewers, what Ritesh meant by Shankara is that it's Shankara Eye Foundation. And I have a lot of regard for this organization. My good friend Murali Krishnamurthy started it, I think, 20 plus years ago.
Yes, that's right.
And it's, I think it still functions from his house, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He and his wife Kala, amazing people. We have been part of a musical group.
Nice.
In the 90s, and then of course he got into Shankara Eye Foundation.
Yeah.
He does still sing once in a while.
Yeah, he does actually.
And
last week I met him.
Yeah, and this is a great initiative because I have been to some of the hospitals in India and I've actually used their services.
Right.
And you guys are doing a great service there.
Thank you.
The gift of vision is one of the best gifts that you can give to another fellow human being.
That's so true. And now actually they have grown further. Now they have office in Milpitas and a lot more action happening.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in terms of your background, you said that you came here to get a graduate degree.
Right.
Now, what is your background? Are you an engineer by undergrad or what is your...
Undergrad, I have a mechanical engineering degree. Then I have master's in computer engineering. And then I have master's in business administration.
I see. So that's a fairly accomplished portfolio you have there. And we know that Mr. Ro Khanna is an intellectual property lawyer. Allegedly, he made his millions doing that. Although I have doubts about what he has done for the community of patent and inventors. I'm an inventor myself. And so we'll come to that in just a bit.
Sure.
Now, what made you to jump into this race? I mean, I know you've done a lot of community work. Ro Khanna is one of those high flyers in Democratic Party now.
Right.
He's co-chair of Bernie Sanders Bernie Sanders campaign. And Ro has been in the hot water for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. He always likes to claim that his grandfather was a freedom fighter for the freedom struggle of India. And then he made some comments, in my opinion, which were either ignorance on his part, or it was deliberate to try and appease one community. And I'll explain the demographics of this district in just a bit. What are your thoughts on that?
So first of all, my grandfather was a freedom fighter as well, and he fought for the independence of India. Answering your question, Shriji, person can make a mistake one time, but he cannot continue to make mistakes again and again and keep on bashing India, bashing all our Hindus community, and also giving the statement which is completely out of the world. And I cannot believe what is happening. And to be frank, we can do a much better job. We have people in our community, our Indian Americans, even including our American citizens. They deserve much better. Today, by joining the Bernie Sanders campaign, he has completely ignored District 17. He is doing that because of his own inspiration. He wants to grow politically, which is everything fine. But this should not happen by putting the people aside,
Yes.
and
Yes.
going after only his ambitions.
Absolutely. And one of the challenges that congressmen face is that they are in continuous election mode, because every 2 years you're up for re-election.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not saying this as an excuse, but I see that in the city of Fremont, the demographics are fairly distributed in terms of, like, you have a lot of Hindus, which I like to call Hindus as Sanatanis, because to me Hindu is a foreign word that was assigned to us by the British.
Right.
So I like to think of myself as Sanatani. So let us, for my sake, just say that the percentage of population in Fremont, just one, and we'll go to other cities also. I mean, in overall, what is the makeup of South Asians, in your opinion, in your district?
In my district, Sanatan Dharm, I can say that we are easily close to 12 to 14%.
12 to 14%. And what about the Muslim population?
Muslim populations, they may be in the range of 5 to 6. I'm not 100%, but 5 to 6%.
5 to 6%.
Yeah.
And then the rest is divided amongst Hispanics,
Chinese,
Chinese.
Filipinos, and Latinos, and all those people.
Okay. Now, the reason why South Asian candidates have been part of the candidates for this district has been that before that Mike Honda was representing
Yes, that's right.
California and this particular district, and he was there for 20 plus years?
Yes.
For
Yes.
a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
So Mike Honda was a Japanese American.
He was Japanese American.
Japanese American.
Right.
So in this mix, you also have the Japanese American. So you have just about every Southeast Asian country, including Japan.
Right.
I mean, that they don't like to call themselves a Southeast Asian, but let's say all the countries there. We have representation from all these countries.
Right.
But perhaps the biggest one is Indian maybe
Indian,
Mexican,
yeah.
and then Indian.
Yeah, that's so true actually. Because our community, at the end of the day, we have seen Asian as well as especially American Indians population that has grown in this valley. And Silicon Valley especially, we have all bright brains from India and Chinese community.
Absolutely. And I must tell viewers, those of you who don't know, Apple is headquartered in Cupertino, and it's a very big company.
Yes.
And Cupertino, I think 80% is Asian, which includes Chinese and Indians and so on and so forth. So you have a very concentrated bulk of voters there.
Right.
Fremont, I think, is also 76% or something like
Yes,
that.
that's right, yeah.
So if you add all the Asian communities,
All the Asian
right?
communities,
Right.
yeah. And the way the whole district is 52% to 54% are Asian.
Asian,
And
right,
District 17.
right. And this is perhaps one of the most prosperous districts in the whole country, right?
Yes, so true.
Yeah.
Because all the majority, what Shriji said, Apple, Microsoft, Cisco, Intel, everyone is based here. Everyone has a base here. No doubt the Microsoft headquarters in Seattle, but they have significant presence, including Amazon also. They have significant presence in the Bay Area.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, Google is planning on building a big campus in downtown San Jose,
That's
because
right,
they've
yeah.
grown out of their Mountain View campus. And if that happens, that also will fall under your district.
Yes.
So this, I can't emphasize the importance of, who will be representing this district, because you would be really be the defining cutting edge here. I mean, between Google and Apple, you're practically, inventing everything coming along. So it's a very significant role and a significant responsibility. And I'm very pleased that someone of an engineering background is trying to represent us.
Thank you.
So let's get back to some topics that I'd like you to highlight. As a congressman, where do you think Ro Khanna has not delivered, and where do you think you can make a difference?
So to begin with, as a congressman, what I have seen Ro Khanna, like he's focusing more outside Bernie Sanders. Today, when we see the top 4 cities out of 5 for the homeless, it is right here in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, sorry, not Bay Area, California.
California, okay.
Again, we see that the Democrats, most of the time, they talk about, they want to break the large companies. They want to increase the corporate tax. We have so many brothers and sisters here waiting for 15 years to get a green card. And we see our congressmen, they know the issue. They know everything what is happening and how people are suffering. But nobody is taking any action to get things done. They only talk about it. When we see breaking about the companies, what the Democrats recently talk about, and for example, Amazon, Google, Cisco, if Google is very innovative company.
Yes.
And people are actually, there, if there are 10 business unit, then sometimes 4 business unit make money, but 6 of them are funded with that money.
Correct.
So that new innovation can happen,
right.
and actually new technology can be developed, and things can be taken to the next level. By breaking these companies, what will happen? Let's say if we break into 10, then the companies who are profitable, they will survive.
The others will all
all
fail.
The research will all fail.
Yes.
And the companies which will survive, automatically, actually, people will see there are a lot of money. They will jump into the business,
right.
and they will take that down as well.
Right.
So some of the policies for Democrats, and especially I see like how Ro Khanna is supporting like takeover of PG&E and takeover of a breakdown of the companies, I think it's not the right stand.
Yeah, viewers, PG&E is Pacific Gas and Electric. And as long as I can remember, it was one of the most profitable companies, except something really bad happened a few years ago.
That's right.
Now, what happens is all of us who are paying for our gas and electric services, we used to pay a premium to PG&E. And PG&E was responsible for cutting down wood plants, trees that were in the line of, in close to the high power voltage lines that used to be spread all over the state. Somewhere along the line, they figured that they don't have to do that. And a couple of years ago, there were a lot of forest fires, and PG&E was in the dock for millions, if not billions.
$13.5 billion.
Yes. Yeah. And that was not 38.5 billion?
Yeah, that's what actually they recently reached to settlement to make a payment. But one thing I can say, Shriji, equally the government regulators who were managing the PG&E, they are also responsible.
Absolutely.
Now with 100% takeover, what Ro Khanna is supporting, you will not have any electricity, I can tell you. Because when the regulators, whose job is to make sure that everything is okay and don't sleep for this long till all this thing happen, once they take over, it's all over.
Yeah, and I have my own personal beef about PG&E, which I'll share in front of the viewers. Viewers might wonder why I'm saying all this, but it's relevant for our topic. See, I have solar set up at my home, but PG&E will still make me to pay what I think I will draw from the PG&E line at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And then I get deductions, like I for every month I don't have to pay. So in this, what I feel is, why am I front loading my payment? I would rather pay as and when I need, because I'm putting my energy also into the system.
Right.
So there is something that needs to be looked at there.
Yes, of course, improvement is they require.
Yeah.
And all this can be done by working parallel with the company, understanding the people, like what you brought it up.
Right.
So in fact, together we can win. Now, what today, like Ro Khanna trying to take over, is not the right thing to do. Also, like companies, they can make a mistake.
Right.
Because they are trying to be innovative.
Right.
And 4 times they will fail, 5th time they will do right. So in fact, our goal need to be working together, trying to create the next generation things, focus more on AI and cloud and what is the next new
Right.
thing coming out
Right.
in the industry. Instead of just saying owning this, you have very decent example of social security, which we all know that government own that.
Right.
And what is the condition?
Right.
I don't believe that I will get the social security benefit after 5 years or 10
Yes,
years.
yes.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
concerned, very concerned about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, which is intellectual property.
Right.
Silicon Valley, 20, 30 years ago, you had an idea, you filed a few patents, you issued those, and you used that to either get acquired by Cisco.
Right.
You have worked in Cisco, so
Yes,
you know this very
lot of
well.
acquisitions.
Cisco grew just by acquiring. They
Right.
had this cookie cutting business. They could take any technology, they would absorb it, they would make a product out of it.
Right.
It got into the mainstream. I mean, Cisco could do no wrong until Juniper
Right.
came along, and then of course Huawei and so on and so forth. But the big picture here is that the intellectual property, the rights of the patent holder have been getting successively diluted.
Right.
And being the intellectual property rights lawyer that Ro Khanna claims, what has been his record on that?
To be frank, if you like my honest answer, I have not seen anything which is done specifically for the intellectual property owners, and I see that someone has more ambition. Once the things is done, just focus on the thing what they like to do. So not only this area, but all the majority of areas are ignored.
Well, here is an offer to Congressman Ro Khanna. I would invite you to the same kind of a talk where I'd like to participate and perhaps answer some of these questions, because when he got elected I said, here is a guy who understands intellectual property. Being an inventor myself, I have some concerns about this, because what has happened is, if you go back and look at the history of patents, who has power, the holder or the big companies? This has been a seesaw battle from the time whenever, like in 1776 they started the patent office in US. As a matter of fact, one of the interesting things is the first three people who are looking at patent applications, one was Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
And the other one was I think it was another founder father. These three people, they would divvy up the things and they would say, okay, this is worth patenting, this is giving a patent on, this is not worth, and so on and so forth. So US, it's strong technologically because of the strength of the patent system.
Yes.
Right now it is weakened beyond measure. So I'd like you to perhaps see how you can restore the rights of the patent holder better than what it is today. Today it is extremely weak. We can have a talk about this in a separate thing, because I want to kind of help you with brief you about what has been happening as a patent rights, how this thing kind of slid down, and now we are in the bottom. We need to rise back up again. Education, everybody buys a house in Cupertino because of its school district.
Yes, so true.
Yeah, I mean, Cupertino houses are not the best, but the school district has this reputation, and people like to go and buy a house there. Now, there have been some changes that are being thought about in the California state laws, right? Like Prop 209.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? How does it impact South Asian students, and how can you remedy those?
Thank you so much, Riji. This is such an important question. When we say Prop 209, what Prop 209 does today is give the admission as well as a job to the people without consideration of any race, caste, sex, religions, anything. So basically everyone is equal. Today, because of Prop 209, our Asian kids, they are getting admission into the UC, and their percentage is 33%.
1 in 3, yeah.
1 in 3. And what we have seen earlier, the Prop 209, the Democrats and the people, they have tried to remove the Prop 209 just for the votes, I can say. By removing the Prop 209, what will happen that in entire California, our Asian community is only 12%. That means that only 12% of Asian kids will get admission into UC. Only 12% of Asian people will get into the public and government job. and which is very scary, I can say.
Absolutely. In fact, I did not know this, and it comes as a complete surprise to me. Because I'll tell you one problem that students have. I don't mean to stereotype this, but chances are that somebody who's Indian American parents, children are extremely bright.
Right.
And there is what is called as equal opportunity or affirmative.
Yeah, it's affirmative action.
Affirmative action.
Yeah.
So when the children apply to schools in the United States, like Harvard or any other big schools outside of California, the every school, the top one or two children probably will get looked at. The rest don't have a choice.
Right.
Now it's all fine. It's all fine if the number of schools is rather small. But if you look at Bay Area, every school has 1,600 students.
Yes.
And chances are that if you look at, if you apply the same percentages, you are looking at probably 400 students in every school of 1,600. 25% is South Asian. And one or two kids only are going to get into the really
Colleges, yeah.
good schools. So what happened is over the years, they all started going to the UCs. And so now I will arguably say that getting a degree from UC Berkeley or UC Davis or UC UCLA or UC San Diego, the quality is just about the same as the Ivy League school because
Right.
it's so tremendously competitive.
Yes.
So if Prop 209 were to pass, that even there you're going to have a problem.
Right.
So I would like all the South Asian parents to give this a serious thought. And I think what I'd probably touch upon in our future conversations is a little bit more in-depth look
Sure.
at this thing,
Definitely.
where it is, how many times it has been put up, what is the process, because we need to understand this.
Sure,
I think
absolutely, yeah.
politically getting involved, getting exposed is important for South Asians. We are certainly one of the most prosperous communities here,
Right.
but we don't show that in our political strength.
And to be frank, like another point, I just add one more line to this, Shriji. If our kids go outside California, and I have seen that most of the kids, those who go outside, they go and settle down here.
Yes.
Here, we actually believe in a family life.
Right.
And when we are working here in the Silicon Valley, I like even my kids, they should be nearby,
Right.
reachable in couple of hours of time
Right.
or 1 hour of flight.
Right.
So this has become extremely important for us.
Ritesh ji, we have covered a few topics, and I think this is like a introduction to you.
Yeah.
And if there's anything else you would like to
Yeah.
highlight upon, feel free to do so, because I'd like to come back and have this conversation perhaps
Sure.
in 2 weeks' time or something like that,
Sure.
as we start building interest in you. Because one of the things I love about my channel, PGurus channel on YouTube, is lots of comments.
Thank you.
And people ask questions, and we'll come back and
Yeah.
viewers feel free to put questions to Ritesh ji. I'll come back. We'll have this conversation again in a few weeks' time.
Sure.
Because this is a bit of a long process, because it's still about 11 months away from elections.
Right.
So things are going to change, and let's
Absolutely.
keep
yeah.
this thing going.
And as you asked, Shriji, one topic I want to add, and I want to educate my viewers as well, that today the green card takes close to 12 to 15 years
Yes,
for Asian
yes.
communities. If you look into the total number of green cards designed for India or for the people of H-1B workers, it's only 7%, which transform into just 3,500 green card every year.
Oh my God, that's
And
a very small number.
That's a small number, right?
Eh, And I might add, if your wife also is applying along with you,
You are
those are counted as two.
Yes, yes.
Children 3,
Children
4,
3,
5.
4, 5.
Yes.
So in fact, it is really a nightmare, and I can see there are Democrats government, even Republicans were there here right now. No one has pushed it really hard because no one have interest, or they don't know the pain. Because myself as an immigrant, I have passed through the same thing where
Yes.
I cannot go back to meet my family, I cannot travel when the process is on,
Yes.
and this and that, and so much regulation.
Right, right.
I can say one of my goal is to remove the country quota. Once we remove the country quota, that means that limitation of 7% will be gone. And there were some initiation done to remove the country quota, but at the end of the day, then again, people who have stopped it is again Democrats.
I see.
They have added some more. They want to get it clear.
This is the bill
things.
S400?
S400, I think.
400, yeah. Right.
So is the time is there? We'll talk more.
Yes,
what you said,
absolutely. And we will find a link for the S400 status, because I have talked about this in a previous Hangout with another person.
Okay.
And we'll have shed more light on that. Sure. But thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. I know you're having a really bad throat today, so it's a very cold day out here. And Riteshji, I wish you all the best. And let's hope and have fun together. And we will, meet again and have more interesting discussions such as this one.
Thank you so much, Shriji, for inviting me to your channel. And thank you all the viewers for looking into Shriji's channel. And I can say that I'm very excited to be part of it. And I'm really thankful for giving me this opportunity.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.